the Patreon pick this week, as requested by our lovely patron, Nettie Gant, I was struggling to find it for some reason, was the 2011 film Paul, which is, of course, a delightful film about a couple of nerds that are on their way back from a convention, a cross-country American road trip, to see some fucking nerd convention. And they pick up an alien who has a quest to get to some certain spot, and they're being hunted down by the government. So they have to, evade the government and, get their fucking... It's like a weed guy movie. They're weed guy alien to the government, or to his spot.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were already done. Fun fact, when writing the movie, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost drove the actual road trip where they really encountered the alien and actually ran into like a busty, saucy waitress and a couple of rednecks that fucking bitched them out, and they decided to add it to the movie.
That is a fun fact, Tater. That's a good one. I like that. Woo!
Wow.
Alrighty, Jackson, where are you ranking this film?
I'm at a C+.
Okay. Dylan, how about yourself?
Dude, I wasn't really sure how to rate any of the movies. I thought it was a fun time. I personally gave it an A.
Oh. I'm also at a C+.
And I am a little bit above you guys at a B-.
There we go.
Going into this film, I was expecting to be a lot more shitty than it was. Like, I thought this was gonna be like a really fucking stupid stoner comedy, but it had a little more heart and soul than I was expecting it to have.
I'm just like, it's just hitting you now. I was saying weed guy movie, not stoner. I just cannot think of the word in the moment, but you know what I mean. Personally, this was just a really weird feeling movie to me. I don't know what it is. I think it was maybe they just didn't have a lot of like background music at times, so it was like it felt very awkward, I guess, which I think is what they were going for. But it was such a strange movie experience. I just don't really know how to put my finger on it, but I think maybe you guys know what I mean potentially.
Yeah.
It was just like surprisingly slow and just like weirdly structured.
Yeah, like they took the premise much more sincerely than I would have thought they would. Like, I thought they were just going to be making fun of it the whole time. Aren't aliens weird? This is such a strange thing. We're going on a road trip with an alien? That's so crazy. But no, it was like actually like, oh yeah, there's like stakes to this. And like he's being fucking hunted. And these agents like are a genuine threat to him. It's like, no, yeah, like I said, there was more heart than I thought there would be. Also, the fucking alien, like for the time, like it's pretty decent CG too.
Yeah, to add on to your guys' I think part of it is just like this movie is an interesting hybrid of like British comedy and stoner comedy, which I think is why it comes across as a bit more earnest and not as like just, knuckle-draggingly stupid as stoner comedies tend to be. But yeah, I gave it a B-, so I thought this movie was fine. I thought it had some decent jokes in there and whatnot. I like the two retard agents. They made me laugh pretty often. And one thing I kind of appreciated was just how much of this movie was just them sending up like, sci-fi films more generally, and especially Spielberg movies. They had tons of references to all kinds of Spielberg stuff in here, which I assume was like a big point of inspiration for them when they wrote it.
Yeah, I agree with the sentiments of like this movie being really casual about the introduction of an alien, and just they're not like, it's exactly like Nico said, like, oh, holy shit, look, it's an alien. Oh, isn't this some weird, wacky shit? Like, they almost introduce concepts the alien does as, like, oh, yeah, this is just a thing that I can do, instead of, like, injecting it in, forcibly. And yeah, like, I agree, the alien CGI was pretty good. I think having Seth Rogen voice act for the alien was an interesting choice. It grew on me throughout the movie, but I mean, I'm a sucker for comedies. That's kind of just been the bottom line throughout these reviews. But yeah, I thought the plot, was just surprisingly casual. They kind of just went with the flow. Like Nico said, there were stakes. One thing that kind of shocked me is that there were deaths in this movie. Very shocking to see. kind of brutal too, to be completely honest. Like, they weren't just like, oh, somebody got shot. It was like they died in some pretty horrific ways. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a crazy amount to say about this movie. I just thought it was a fun, enjoyable watch. You know, I'd definitely watch this movie again.
So I gave this movie a C+ for a few reasons, mostly because I didn't find it particularly funny, unsurprisingly. I know, shocker to all the Jackson stands out there that know my opinions on movies, but the biggest points that stand out to me as like just like truly unfunny. Obviously, the alien guy, I don't like stoner humor, so a lot of it was just unfunny inherently. The whole fucking Christian girl awakening thing and her like cursing and stuff is just cringe and bad, and I didn't like it at all. A lot of the dialogue was like purposefully cringe, and it just wasn't funny. I don't really like cringe humor, I guess, so it just didn't really work on me. I will agree with Tanner. I think the funniest parts of the movie for me was just the interaction between the cops and the CIA guy. I think those were entertaining. Everything else is just kind of whatever. It was an entertaining movie. I don't think like overstayed its welcome, but like it was nothing special. And one big thing that I found, and maybe I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, is I just don't think it feels like they recorded Seth Rogen's lines after they animated the fucking guy, because it feels like the alien's facial expressions or just general, you know, body language doesn't match what he's saying at all, like any point. It just feels so fucking tacked on, and maybe that's just because Seth Rogen's a bad voice actor. I don't know, but it was really distracting, to be completely honest, right from the get-go.
I had said that the voice grew on me, but yeah, I agree. Like, I don't think Seth Rogen is a great voice actor. I think his voice is silly and different, but you know, yeah, I agree. It did feel mismatched throughout and that kind of alludes to another thing. It was like, I did praise this movie for being casual. Sometimes it felt too casual, like there's just like some crazy alien shenanigans going on, and like it just seems like these two guys go with the flow way too quickly. Or like even like the Christian girl, like you pointed out, like she like unlocks the knowledge of the universe like immediately, and then like it leans almost too much into like, I am like a person free from my religious shackles. And I only say that because I had hit that point once in my life, and I agree that shit's cringe. It was, I think, in smaller doses that would have been fine, but like I said, I think they leaned into her kind of flipping her personality way too much. I think it would have been fine in like micro doses. But yeah, and also, I guess one thing that did get me was like the twist at the end, where it's like the CIA guy was actually helping Paul the whole time. He was supposed to be the guy helping. There's a little small thing about it, but like, it's the things that catch you off guard that I like to note. So very very cool. Also, like I said, brutal deaths. Holy shit! At the very end there, it's Sigourney Weaver dying by being smashed by a UFO traveling at ungodly speeds into the Earth. Kind of crazy, but kind of funny.
I do hate the fucking trope. This alludes to the prior to that moment happening, of where they put down the main antagonist, I guess, and then they don't fucking finish him off, and then they just like walk up. I hate that shit. It pisses me off. Obviously, they did it so they can have the comedic ending to her character, even though she's barely a fucking character. But like, it's just annoying. Like, why do that, man? Yeah. It's just bad.
That shit definitely grinds my gears. However, I did pog at the screen when I saw the Invincible Easter egg in here. He was wearing the Invincible t-shirt, and we saw The Boys too. The Boys was there as well. Like, those are both, neither of those shows had come out at the time of this film. And so, like, Seth Rogen, he was a producer for both of those shows. You know, maybe some of the other things in here will also be getting TV shows in the future by the old SG Man himself. For example, Witchblade or Felix the Cat? Who knows?
Felix the Cat. I too noticed the Invincible reference.
Dude,
I didn't, unsurprisingly.
I was trying to figure out if there was a purpose behind the whole gay bit that was going on through parts of the movie.
What do you mean purpose?
And it just ended up being nothing.
It was just
like,
a joke.
I figured there was a reason they kept... Yeah, but I figured there was a reason it kept coming up, and it just felt... As weird as this sounds, there was, like, no resolution. I was like, oh, it's just something that they just thought it'd be funny.
Oh, yeah, you know...
I didn't think it was that funny.
Let me throw in another classic Jackson complaint. I think the romance was really forced, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, of course.
True.
Of course.
Yeah.
I like Dylan's idea, though. They should have done, like, a thing where, like, the fat guy tries to give the other dude CPR at some point, and then they're like, oh, I didn't like that at all, and it's like, I guess we're not gay.
I'm kind of with Dylan though. I genuinely did feel like they were trying to go somewhere with like they were gonna do like a come out sequence for the bigger guy and not just it's just some jealousy thing.
Yeah, like it genuinely felt like, because it's one of those things where you keep bringing it up for a reason. Like I get it could be a running joke, but like at some point it becomes like, all right, well, what are we doing with this here? And then it's nothing. Well, technically the resolution was at the very like 3/4 of the way in. We find out it was like jealousy of not only like the guy getting a relationship with the girl and they're like arguing outside the RV, but then he's also like finding out he's just jealous of the relationship that Paul and the other guy had while he was passed out. And the alien's like, dude, are you mad because like we had 5 minutes of talk time before you woke up? And I was like, oh, I guess that's the resolution to the whole gay bit joke or whatever. Cool, I guess. I don't know. But just weird to me. I don't know.
I will say, this movie does do a good job of nailing the vibes of a road trip. I will give it props for that. It did. I feel like that's honestly a pretty big plus for the movie for me. It just felt very comfy to watch at times. And genuinely, it made me want to like actually do a road trip, but like take my time with it. Because I did just move from fucking Oregon to Texas, which is a road trip. But I was doing that at Mach 1. And this movie made me regret that decision a little bit.
Road trips are fun, man. One of the Guap boys gonna do the Great Guap. I don't know a word for journey.
The Great American Tour.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a word that starts with G that is a synonym for journey, but I don't think there is one.
Yeah, it could be pretty sweet. Dylan and I get an RV and we head from Oregon down to Texas to pick Jackson up, and then we head on over to South Carolina to get Tanner, and from there we end the road trip.
Yeah, there we go.
I really thought you were going to say North Carolina.
And then we drive into the ocean.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's hit New York City, boys. Let's get to the big capital.
Yeah.
There we go. Do we
have
any
final thoughts on Paul?
No.
I'm sticking at my C+.
As am I.
I'm sticking at my B-.
I kind of hastily, as you guys are aware, I kind of hastily rated the movies. I think I'm just going to give it an A- instead of an A. Nothing crazy.
Whoa.
Fair enough, and it lands at a B- overall.
Sick.
Wow.